Business Head, Sony Entertainment Television, Digital Business and Studio Next, Mr. Danish Khan, and the legend himself, the host of the show in India's biggest superstar, Shri Amitabh Bachchan. Welcome and congratulations. Season number 14 शुरू होने वाला है. 22 incredible years. Welcome and thank you so much. NP Singh sir, may I request you to please address our gathering and take us through what is going to come in and the.
As Anuj just said. No, they can hear me. Okay. They nodded. As Anuj said, KBC started 22 years ago, and we are now in the 14th season overall. A fairly long journey. 2010 is when we decided to bring KBC on Sony Entertainment Television for our viewers. The iconic host of KBC, Mr. Bachchan, agrees to do the show once again, and he graciously and I'm very sure that we'll have many more seasons with Mr. Bachchan in the future as well. As a great nation, and KBC also is going to participate in those celebrations, and we have decided that the jackpot winning amount. In addition, we are introducing a new palav at 75 lakhs, which will empower the contestant and encourage the contestant to take a little bit of risk for the next question, which is 1 crore. And
it is your enthusiasm, your positivity with which, with every season, I think the entire country, we become stronger, wiser, and a little more kind every time a season comes out. So thank you so much for everything you do. 22 साल के बाद सर बीच में 2 साल हमारे ऑनलाइन भी ये लॉन्चेस हुए हैं और कई अलग-अलग फॉर्मेट्स में हमें लोगों तक ये खुशियां पहुंचानी रही हैं. How has your experience been, especially considering now that we're meeting everybody after 2 years?
The pandemic actually kept all of us away from meeting anyone, and still there are many occasions when medically we are not about to be in public, so that's some kind of a holding back, but I'm very glad that we're able to have a live audience on the floor today and in this entire season. We tried playing with the audience somewhat distinctly by keeping them away, going through various tests and not being able to, touch the contestant, not being able to hold their hands or guide them to the chair if there's a lady, just going and embracing them when they do well. That was kept away, and that kind of a distance, that physical distancing was somewhere not the very same as we have now, but it's wonderful to have that atmosphere once again and to be able to feel a bit normal in that sense. So it's, I'm very glad that I'm here, and some of the restrictions that we had earlier on have now been removed and we are closer to the audience.
इस सीजन की खास बात ये भी है कि इस साल हम स्वतंत्रता दिवस के 75 साल पूरे कर रहे हैं और आज़ादी के गर्व का महापर्व हम मना रहे हैं. तो क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं हम इस सीज़न में, किस तरह सेलिब्रेशंस होंगे और किस तरह ये कोइंसाइड हो रहा है, द सेलिब्रेशन ऑफ द सीजन 14 एंड ऑफ कोर्स 75th ईयर ऑफ आवर इंडिपेंडेंस?
ये अभी आपने देखा हमारा जो वीडियो उसमें, और मिस्टर एनपी सिंह हैज़ डिस्क्राइब्ड सम ऑफ द चेंजेस, जो कुछ बदलाव आया है, चाहे वो 7 करोड़ से 7.5 करोड़ हो या वो 75 लाख का जो एक और पड़ाव है. कहीं ना कहीं वो इसकी वजह ये भी थी कि उसमें 7.5 में 75 दिखना चाहिए, या जो पड़ाव है 75 लाख का उसमें 75 दिखना चाहिए. तो एक ये बहुत ही सटल इंडिकेशन कि हम लोग अपना 75 आज़ादी का महापर्व मना रहे हैं. इस तरह की कुछ चीज़ें उसमें आ गई.
इंडिया इज़ ऑल्सो इवॉल्विंग ब्यूटिफुली, एंड इस सीज़न में हम कई कंटेस्टेंट्स को किसे मिलने वाले हैं जो सोसाइटी के अलग अलग वॉक्स ऑफ लाइफ से आए हैं, And I think we're celebrating the diversity as well. So you have had, of course, the opportunity to interact with many of them and hear their stories and take them to the people. तो इस सीज़न जो contestants आ रहे हैं, उनमें क्या कहानियाँ आपको भिन्न दिखी हैं, and how are we celebrating India and Indians?
कंटेस्टेंट्स ही इस शो की महिमा है। जब वो अच्छे होते हैं, जब वो सही खेलते हैं, उनकी कहानियाँ जो हैं हमको सुनने में आती हैं और किन कठिनाइयों से वो गुज़रते हैं या क्या क्या उन्होंने अपना योगदान दिया है देश के प्रति, उन सब को सुन करके हम सब बहुत प्रभावित होते हैं। हमारा काम तो केवल प्रश्न डालने का है और बताने का है कि सही है या गलत, लेकिन उनकी जो कहानियाँ हैं, उनके जो सवाल हैं, उनके जो उत्तर हैं, वो हम सब से कहीं ज़्यादा एक बहुत ऊंचे स्थान पे हैं। और अलग अलग वर्ग के लोग अलग अलग जगहों से आते हैं। सबका कहीं ना कहीं एक योगदान रहा है देश के प्रति, और उसे जान करके और इस माध्यम से, केबीसी के माध्यम से इसका प्रचार हो देश भर में, ये सबसे बड़ी बात होती है। बहुत से लोग ऐसे हैं जो कि शायद पहली बार यहाँ आ रहे हैं और उनकी जो कहानियाँ हैं, उनका जो योगदान रहा है वो अद्भुत रहा है। अभी आपने देखा हमारे वीडियो में जो एक आर्म्ड फोर्सेस से दो जो आए थे, उनकी कहानी सुन करके तो आश्चर्य होता है कि हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं। हमारा कभी इस ओर ध्यान गया नहीं या उनकी कहानी हमने सुनी नहीं। वो जो आर्मी से आए थे, उन्होंने कहा कि 43 bullets or shrapnel are still inside my body. This is not a joke, you know. I mean, look at the sacrifice. और गर्व से कहते हैं कि जितना कुछ हमको लगा है वो हमारी छाती पे लगा, हमारे पीठ पे नहीं लगा है। I was facing the enemy. I was not running away from it. These are some of the brave stories that we hear. And how wonderful for him to say कि मेरे अंदर जो खून है वो मेरा खून नहीं है, वो हिंदुस्तानियों का खून है, क्योंकि इतने लोगों ने अपना खून दिया है उसकी जान बचाने के लिए। These are some of the amazing stories that we have. और आपने देखा होगा कि अलग अलग लोग आ रहे हैं, कोई स्टार्टअप कर रहा है, कोई प्रोफेसर हैं, कोई स्टूडेंट हैं जो आगे बढ़ना चाह रहे हैं। ये सब दर्शाते हैं कि देश जो है प्रगति के रास्ते पे कितनी तेज़ी से चल रहा है, और इनको यहाँ मिल करके तो हम बहुत प्रभावित होते हैं। और इसी तरह हम अपने शो को भी एक तरह से बढ़ावा देते हैं कि हमें अवसर मिलता है ऐसे लोगों से उनका परिचय जान सकें, क्योंकि दैट इज़ व्हाट रियली मेक्स द गिव्स अ लॉट ऑफ ग्रेविटी टू द शो।
धन्यवाद सर। मीडिया की तरफ से कुछ सवाल हैं जो मैं आप तीनों से पूछना चाहूँगा करके। तो पहला सवाल दैनिक भास्कर से है अमिताभ साहब के लिए। आप केबीसी के 22 वर्षों की जर्नी को किस तरह से देखते हैं? आपके लिए सवाल है सर दैनिक भास्कर से। केबीसी के 22 वर्षों की जर्नी को आप किस तरह से देखते हैं?
कहाँ है वो दैनिक है नहीं?
सवाल मेरे पास आए हैं सर।
अच्छा,
तो
अच्छा।
मैं उनके बिहाफ पे पढ़ रहा हूँ।
सर मैं देखता हूँ कि मुझे एक और नौकरी मिल गई, और क्या। और क्या।
Congratulations. NP Singh sir, money control से आपके लिए, is there a collective thought process behind the creation of the campaign, thought that taps into the pulse of the country?
Absolutely. That's always our intent. We keep meeting a cross section of our viewers and people in general to understand where the nation is going, which direction are we moving in, and try and convey that message through our campaigns on Kaun Banega Crorepati. And I think we've been successful in most cases, if not all, and it gives us immense satisfaction that we are able to connect to them and get them on to view KBC and enjoy it. And also it's a a strong platform for knowledge and learning. So we're giving back to them as well in that sense.
Thank you, sir. Danish sir, आपके लिए from Bombay Times. Like many music and dance reality shows, KBC gets many contestants from humble backgrounds, focusing on their emotional stories, which results in great emotions and tears. Do you feel, along with it being a crowd puller, does it help connect more with the viewers?
I think by nature, Indians are emotional, and when they are on television, the emotions do come out, because somebody who has sat for hours to get audition in Indian Idol or in a Super Dancer, or has spent so many time to listen to the question, answer the question, and come for an audition and reach a KBC set, it's a dream come true for that person. Is always overwhelmed with the emotions. And as we know, this country, 140 crore population, they come from different socioeconomic category. There are people who are startup, they're doing great in their life. There are people who are poor and they come from poor background. We don't actually design, we design the process in which they are audition and come to KBC or any other show, but we don't select them on virtue of their emotional story or otherwise. I personally believe if you don't have emotion, you will not come all the way. If somebody is not emotional about KBC or about Indian Idol, why would he or she take that extra effort to come all the way? So that emotion comes, they come with lot of emotion, and sometimes when any person who comes and in a KBC set, in front of him or her there is Mr. Bachchan, it is very natural that person will get slightly overwhelmed and emotional about the situation. So I think it has very little to do with our desire. It is how the reality is.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you. Amitabh sir, आपके लिए अगला सवाल नवभारत टाइम्स से. How do you see India being represented through the show as it celebrates 75 years of independence?
मेरे ख्याल से जितना कुछ अभी तक हमने किया है, चाहे वो एक तरह से अभी आपने वीडियो पे देखा किस तरह से एक रचना लिखी गई है, कविता लिखी गई है, और उसके जो वाक्य हैं, उसकी जो बातें हैं, उसके जो शब्द हैं, वो दर्शाते हैं कि भारत किस पथ पर चल रहा है. और 75 वर्ष एक देश के जीवन में बहुत महत्व रखते हैं. कई बार मुझे लगता है कि मुझे पूछना चाहिए कि और कितने देश हैं हमारे विश्व में जो कि 75 सालों में वो दिखा सकते हैं जो भारत ने दिखाया है, और आपको उसका उत्तर मिल जाएगा. तो मैं समझता हूँ कि चाहे वो इकोनॉमिक प्रोग्रेस हो, उन्नति हो, कहीं भी हो, 75 साल में जो कुछ भारत ने किया है, वो अन्य देश जो कि जिनको कि 75 साल हुए आज़ादी मिले, उनकी क्या स्थिति और हमारी क्या स्थिति, तो आपको पता चल जाएगा कि भारत कहाँ पर है.
NP Singh sir, from Indian television, KBC after being translated. Please sir.
Actually, I read somewhere that in a similar situation, one of the persons from our country was talking about how great India is and so on and so forth, and there was an Englishman who was there in front of him and said, how about talking something about Britain? So he said, you are responsible for the largest number of countries being able to celebrate Independence Day. It meant to be a joke, but yeah, I thought it was very pertinent.
Thank you, sir. NP Singh sir, from Indian television. KBC, after being translated into an Indian format, has time and again adapted to trends. How do you make sure the show remains true to its core of celebrating Indians and their genius?
As I said earlier, our constant interaction with the viewers and cross section of people keep us cued into the mood of the nation, and that's what you see on KBC, and gives us an immense connect with people and the contestants that come on the show, and with Mr. Bachchan interacting with them gives them and us an opportunity to understand our great nation better, and how people think about their own surrounding, their own environment, and where they come from, what they want to achieve. There are some inspirational stories that come out, and Sir spoke about some, but there are many that we have seen in the last many seasons that we have done of KBC, and it celebrates, as I said earlier, knowledge and ज्ञान ही आपको सच्चा आपका सही हक दिलाता है. It's something that resonates with me even today. One of our campaigns, and KBC stands for it.
Thank you. On that note, the next question, Mr. Danish, from Indian television. How has campaign helped KBC so far? Do you think this will be fruitful in attracting audiences?
No, I think actually we do the campaign of KBC typically tries to say what is common between KBC and our society. If you look at our society, we have always put knowledge at a pedestal. We thought that knowledge as a tool can be a great equalizer, and that is what we have seen in last so many years when we talk about India's growth. I think we are basically knowledge driven growth that we have seen, whether it's IT, whether it's any other sector, now the booming startup environment. So knowledge has been key to our country's success. If you look at any person across India, he would compromise on every other expense, but will not compromise on the expense of the children's education. Okay, and gathering knowledge, or dreaming to have a different life or a social mobility basis acquisition of knowledge is what we have been taught in our families across India. And KBC is one of the many outlets which celebrates that. So every year we come, as NP sir was saying, every year when we come, we'll look at what is the relevance of knowledge in our society. For this year, for example, the campaign that we are talking about, before you filter the knowledge, before you think it's a knowledge, because from suddenly a scarcity of knowledge society where you used to find where to go and find knowledge, library, knowledgeable person, today we are being bombarded with information. Okay, to filter that information and find the right thing, which is right, which is wrong, is a skill set that our society is grappling with. And that's why this theme was about जहाँ से ज्ञान मिलता है उसको बटोर लो, but पहले उसको टटोल लो. So all this thought come from what's happening in the society. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Bachchan sir, आपके लिए नवभारत टाइम्स से, what are some of your expectations from this season?
That it has the best TRPs.
Short and sweet, indeed, sir. Thank you. NP Singh sir, India TV say, KBC is one of the most successful quiz shows on Indian television. What, according to you, is the reason behind its success?
Everything that you've heard till now is the reason behind the success of KBC. I don't think we need to add more.
All of the above.
All of the above.
All of the above. दानिश सर, प्रभात खबर से आपके लिए, क्या इस बार भी बच्चों को लेकर एक सेगमेंट होगा?
Yeah, we will announce soon.
Bachchan sir, आपके लिए from Indian Express. You mentioned in your blog, there is an each time I say never again, and yet it all comes back when the commitment has been made. What is it that makes you rethink about hosting the show, and what brings you back?
Where did you read that?
This has come from Indian Express.
Just read that thing again.
There is an each time I say never again, and yet it all comes back when the commitment has been made. आपने अपने blog में लिखा था ये.
जी, अरे भाई वो सर ये ज़माना बड़ी मुसीबत का हो गया. कुछ भी लिखिए, न जाने क्या क्या मायने निकाल लेते हैं उसमें से. बहरहाल वो लिखा था जहां हम काम कर रहे हैं अभी एक फिल्म में हैदराबाद में. उसमें हमारी जो वेशभूषा है उसमें 1000 तरह के प्रोस्थेटिक हैं, बाल है, दाढ़ी है, लंबे लंबे हैं. वो कह रहा था मैं कि हर बार मैं तय करता हूँ कि यार ये जो अगली पिक्चर इसमें अगर दाढ़ी होगी तो मैं काम नहीं करूँगा. वो हर बार वापस वही पिक्चर आ जाती है, उसमें काम करना. तो उसका वर्णन है, ये केबीसी के बारे में नहीं है.
लेकिन सर केबीसी पे आप व्हाट ब्रिंग्स यू बैक, आप क्या है जो आप वापस आकर हॉट सीट पे आप?
हमारी जो जनता है, जो यहाँ अभी प्रेस बैठा हुआ है, यहाँ बैठी रहती है, और हम जब आते हैं तो जिस तरह से वो स्वागत करते हैं, जिस तरह से वो कंटेस्टेंट को उत्साह भराते हैं उनका, वही चीज़ें हैं जो बार बार हमको लाती रहती हैं।
Thank you, sir. NP Singh, sir, AFAC say, since the time Sony acquired KBC, how have you observed the show to not only change itself, but influence or impact the viewing pattern of the Indian audience?
You know, again, this, I'll be repeating myself, but we've seen the show evolve with the viewer, yeah, and as I said, we always keep a finger on the pulse of our viewer and bring our shows as per their requirements and needs, and keep engaging them with our content, and that's what we've done with KBC, and that's why it's been so successful in the last 11 seasons, and will continue to be successful in the future as well, with Mr. Bachchan hosting it.
Of course. Danish sir, India TV say, with the rising number of audiences on OTT platforms, a number of shows have moved to the streaming spaces or come up with a web format of the shows. Can we expect an exclusive web format for KBC as well in the future?
No, we honestly don't believe that web or digital needs a different format of KBC. There is KBC which is consumed both on TV as well as digital. In fact, last 3-4 years, the viewership on television has been there, but the viewership on Sony Live has been growing. So my sense is that the medium in which you consume changes according to the device that you use and the generation, you know, but the content itself doesn't need, is for a consumer, not for a device. So, you know, so I think KBC will continue, and it will be as the audience start using more digital medium, more portable medium, more mobiles, more, the consumption of KBC can move from television to there, but I don't think we need to do any specialized web version for it.
Sir, anchor to वही होगा।
You have any doubts, sir?
No, I thought maybe if the format is changed, you get somebody else.
Sir, I
to
said
do it.
format is not changing, the device is only
Oh,
changing.
okay,
You know,
okay.
they're moving from TV to...
बच गए।
Amitabh sir, Nawa Duniya say, through the seasons, what according to you has changed or remained the same in the show?
What has changed?
What has changed or remained the same? तो क्या बदला है और क्या बरकरार रहा है?
The show has always remained the same because it follows a certain format which is technically, legally, we cannot change. But the anchors keep changing, and that's fine. No, I mean, I haven't been the anchor all along. I mean, and there are so many other anchors in different languages, and they're all doing so well.
Danish sir, Indian television say, this format is successful since years. What is the USP of KBC that is working?
No, as I said, it's a very straightforward format. You meet a common person and you ask general knowledge questions, and then there is this the host and the player against the computer. Okay, the host, the audience, and the nation wants this person to win over his knowledge, and then there is a computer who is about custodian of right answer or wrong answer. I think this format has really worked, and it has worked across the world in different languages. In India also it's doing well in so many multiple languages. So as a format it works, but as the time change, the kind of question, the pace of the game, the kind of people that you interact, all those things keeps changing, but the core format remains the same. You know.
Amitabh sir, please share your thoughts. This is from Navbharat Times. Please share your thoughts on this season's campaign thought. ज्ञान जहाँ से मिले बटोर लीजिए, लेकिन पहले जरा टटोल लीजिए.
अभी दानिश जी ने समझाया इसको कि
जी
भरपूर इन्फॉर्मेशन आजकल मिल जाता है एक बटन दबाने से, और हो सकता है कि जो आपको सुनाया जा रहा है या जो आप पढ़ रहे हैं उसको थोड़ा सा टटोल लें, क्योंकि हो सकता है कि वो सही ना हो, गलत भी हो. आम तौर पर देखा गया कि वो सही होता है, लेकिन एक बार उस ओर भी ध्यान दे दिया जाए. बहुत से लोग जो हैं उसके ऊपर अपनी टिप्पणी करते हैं, अलग अलग किस्म की खबरें जो हैं वो छप जाती हैं इंफॉर्मेशन में. केवल यही एक सावधानी कि आप उसे बटोर तो लीजिए, लेकिन एक बार ज़रा टटोल लीजिए, मतलब उसको रीचेक कर लीजिए कि ये सही है या नहीं.
सामना से सर आपके लिए सवाल कि क्या वजह है जो दर्शकों के बीच आज भी कौन बनेगा करोड़पति की लोकप्रियता बरकरार है?
किसी मुझसे
आपके लिए सवाल है।
ये तो अभी दानिश जी ने और एनपी सिंह साहब ने बताया कि ज्ञान है, सवाल जवाब चलता है, बहुत सी ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जिसके बारे में उनको स्वयं पता नहीं होता है। घर बैठे जो परिवार देख रहे हैं इस कार्यक्रम को, वो एक अच्छी बात होती है कि सारा परिवार जो है एक साथ बैठ करके कार्यक्रम देखता है। और कई बार वो परिवार के अंदर भी केबीसी चलता है। माता पिता जो हैं वो संतान से पूछते हैं, भैया इसका जवाब मालूम है कि नहीं। आजकल तो ऐसा हो गया कि संतान जो है वो माता पिता से प्रश्न पूछ रही है कि आपको मालूम है या नहीं। तो इस तरह से एक अच्छा माहौल बना हुआ है, एक घरेलू माहौल बना हुआ है घर के अंदर। एक चीज़ जो मुझे बताई गई वो ये कि जो ज़्यादा वृद्ध हो गए हैं और जिनको अवसर नहीं मिलता है एनपी बाहर जाने का, उनके लिए ये एक बहुत ही अच्छा एक डाइवर्जन है, एक एंटरटेनमेंट है कि घर बैठे कहीं जाना नहीं है, यहीं पर बैठ कर के मैं अपने 1-1.5 घंटा जो है वो अपने आराम से देख सकता हूँ या देख सकती हूँ। किसी ने बताया मुझे कि ये जो ऐसी अवस्था आ जाती है सबके जीवन में कि जब उम्र हो जाती है और कहीं इधर उधर जाने का मन नहीं करता है, तो वो इंतज़ार करते हैं इस बात का कि रात को कब देखेंगे इसको, ताकि हमारा ये जो एक तरह से एंटरटेनमेंट है वो हो जाता है। तो उनके लिए भी एक बहुत अच्छी बात है।
बच्चन साहब, वर्तमान से आपके लिए सवाल कि कैन यू हाईलाइट एनी चैलेंजेस यू फेस विद एवरी सीजन in order to attract a new generation of viewers?
मैं ऐसा मानता हूं कि जिस तरह से हमारे प्रश्न जो हैं वो डिज़ाइन होते हैं, ये उनके ऊपर निर्भर होता है। आम तौर पर देखा जाता है कि, और ये मैं नहीं बता सकता और मुझे मालूम नहीं कि वो ये जो प्रश्नावली है ये कहाँ से आती है और कैसे आती है, कि इसमें बहुत सारे रिसर्च होता है अलग अलग शहरों से, फिर ये एक मास्टर कंप्यूटर में डाला जाता है और वहाँ से फिर अपने आप रैंडमली चुन करके आते हैं प्रश्न। कहीं ना कहीं तो इस सोच को बरकरार किया होगा कि ये ज़्यादा कठिन है, ये ज़्यादा आसान है, या इस ओर अगर आकर्षित करना है किसी कंटेस्टेंट को तो इस तरह के प्रश्न डाले जाएं ताकि वो उसका भी ध्यान रखे और उसका उत्तर जान सके। इसी तरह मैं समझता हूँ कि अगर नौजवान पीढ़ी है, ये जो नई पीढ़ी है आज की, उसको आकर्षित करने के लिए कुछ ऐसे प्रश्न को डालना होगा जिनसे कि उनको भी लगे कि हाँ, मैं यहाँ आकर के न तो केवल अपने ज्ञान की बात करना चाहता हूँ या ये बताना चाहता हूँ कि मैंने ये स्टार्टअप किया या मैं आजकल ये कर रहा हूँ, बल्कि साथ साथ मैं बताना चाहता हूँ कि आपका ये प्रश्न कठिन था लेकिन मेरे पास उसका उत्तर है।
सामना से आपके लिए सवाल बच्चन सर कि केबीसी के लिए आप कितनी प्रिपरेशन करते हैं और किस प्रकार की?
सर ये बड़ा भयंकर सवाल है क्योंकि हाथ पांव कांपने लगते हैं। अभी यहाँ से निकलूँगा फिर सोचूंगा क्या होगा, कल कैसे होगा, न जाने क्या होगा, कैसे कर पाएंगे या नहीं। तो प्रतिदिन सर वो एक डर लगा रहता है कि कैसे कंडक्ट करेंगे अपने आप को। और मैं इसलिए नहीं कह रहा हूँ क्योंकि यहाँ जनता बैठी है, लेकिन जब जनता अच्छी तरह से न केवल स्वागत करती है लेकिन वो भाग लेती है हमारे इस कार्यक्रम में, वो हमें प्रोत्साहित करती है। और जब भी वो आती है तो मैं सबसे पहले धन्यवाद उन्हीं को देता हूँ कि आपकी वजह से हम हैं, और आप जिस तरह से अपनी रुचि दिखाते हैं, अपना प्यार दिखाते हैं, वही जो है वो हमको प्रोत्साहित करता है कि खेल को आगे बढ़ाएं या बातचीत करें। कंटेस्टेंट के ऊपर भी बहुत कुछ निर्भर होता है, किस तरह से उसका व्यवहार होगा, कैसे वो बात करेगा, कौन सी ऐसी बातें हैं उसके जीवन की जिसको हम आगे बढ़ा सकें, न केवल शो के लिए बल्कि जो जनता हमारा जो कार्यक्रम देख रही है उनको भी बहुत सारा ज्ञान मिलता है। और जो लोग भी इसको घर बैठ करके देखते हैं, कहीं ना कहीं उनके मन में भी ये चलता है कि इस प्रश्न का उत्तर जानना चाहिए, या चलो इसको ढूंढते हैं। या कुछ लोग कहेंगे नहीं हमें मालूम है. तो it's like a combined effort by everyone coming together. It just brings people together towards a common cause. And I just feel it's, in this modern world, you know, all of us are going in diverse directions and leading our own lives and everything, but this is one show that brings everyone together. And it's wonderful to see families sitting together and being involved in one common factor. I know that there are many other factors that are common, but I do believe that this is one factor that brings all of them together.
हर्षदा वेद पाठक से बच्चन सर आपके लिए सवाल. All contestants come from different walks of life. Have you ever felt that you could relate to them in any way?
Each one of them. Yeah, each one of them we relate to. Because the moment they start describing their life, where they come from, you find that there are, in every contestant, there is an element that you have been through in your life as well. Many people seem to think that, you know, I'm just saying this for the effect, but we all came from very humble beginnings, and when a contestant talks about his humble beginnings and what he has gone through to be able to reach this very important chair, which can change his life, you actually begin to believe that if it can happen to him, it happened to you as well. But the only difference is that within the course of an hour, this gentleman or this lady is going to get up from here and her life has changed. And that's the greatest satisfaction. For me particularly, I'm sure that for the channel as well. And all those involved in this wonderful show are able to appreciate. Every time a contestant gets up and does well, and we go for a break or the end of the show happens, and the entire crew just comes around. You know, they're all standing here right now trying to hide behind the wall, but they all come around and they're so excited. And they talk and they say, look how well he did, and he was so good, and look at the way he conducted himself. And it's very fulfilling. It's wonderful to hear this. And they really are the real heroes and the heroines and the leading forces that go along with this show. It's wonderful to know that, yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And thank you to you and, of course, the entire team for bringing and celebrating knowledge, for bringing joy and hope to millions of homes and lives. So thank you so much for everything you do.
I'd just like to say that, you know, right now you're just seeing three of us sitting here, but I just want you to know that there's a tremendous backup crew and a team that is involved in this show of over 400 people. And you never get to see their faces. You never get to talk to them. But if it was not for them, this show would never have happened. And I really want to applaud the entire people behind the screen and behind the stage who work assiduously. And, you know, we come here at an appointed hour, but they've been here hours before to set everything up and make sure that the show goes smoothly. I do appreciate that, and I love the fact that it is because of them that we are able to do what we do. In particular, I want to say that the percentage of the ladies that work on this show is almost equally balanced, and they are so hardworking. So I want to thank them as well.
Thank you. Well, those are the questions that we've had for the media. Thank you so much for answering them. Thank you so much for being with us. And of course, may I request you to please indulge us for a photo opportunity with the media.
Sir,
and
that's it?
That's it, sir.
We can leave.
Ji, sir.
We can leave, yeah.